Here, I'm Marla Rodriguez with 9 Health, and I'm joined by Beth Brady,
Hi.
who is a medical professional. So today, we're actually, in this series of Health Happens, we're talking about all sorts of health things because we know that health is happening wherever you are, whatever you're doing, all the time, whether you're drinking your coffee or eating your lunch or, taking a walk or
Walking your dog.
Walking your dog, or in our case, we're going to talk today about the colonoscopy. So our goal is going to tell you everything that no one else would tell you about the colonoscopy, and we can do that from just an experience level because both of us just recently did a colonoscopy, and then also from a medical perspective because Beth actually has that knowledge and expertise. So ask us anything you want to know, and the field is wide open. If we can't answer your question, we'll look it up and we'll try and give you an answer in the Facebook feed. So I'm going to take a look at the questions here and let me know if you have anything. So let's just start with, we both have recently experienced this fabulous procedure called the colonoscopy, which is really important. Why is it so important, Beth?
Well, it's really important for prevention.
Yeah.
Everything is prevention instead of getting the disease, and a colonoscopy is the gold standard for prevention and detecting any kind of bowel movement habits that have changed, any kind of abdominal pain, ulcers, tumors, diverticulitis, polyps, which are abnormal cells in the colon, and that can turn into colon cancer.
Yeah, you're really looking for that colon cancer, right?
Correct.
I mean,
they do look at other things. I mean,
Right.
they're looking at the whole lining of your large intestines for any kind of changes, or if somebody comes in with another symptom of something. That's what they look for.
Yeah. And tell us, so who should get this colonoscopy and when?
Well,
It's important to know.
it's real important that anyone 50 years old should get it, and that's with somebody with a normal risk. Anybody who has family history, a doctor, or you have any kind of symptoms, the doctor might ask you to get it earlier and more frequent. For instance, I got mine when I was 50, 10 years ago, and everything was good.
Yeah.
And so they
Yay.
put me on the 10-year plan, and this year I got it, and I had 4 polyps, and 1 was precancerous. So now I'm on the 5-year plan, because it takes about 10 years for a polyp to grow and become cancerous. So they want to catch it before it's at that state.
Yeah, so they caught it now,
Yep.
and now you're really good to go for 5 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Whereas if you didn't catch it, what could have happened to you?
Well, I could have had colon cancer, and the morbidity rate is 33%, and it's the second leading cause of death in both men and women in the United States.
Okay, so that's why we should do this procedure, and so we both did.
Yep.
Beth was just sharing, and what we figured out is that the preparation for the colonoscopy is actually the hardest part. The actual procedure for me was not a big deal. What about you?
I think everybody fears that prep.
Yeah, and I brought it just to show you what it looks like.
This is one, and there's very many different. There's probably over 100 different preps out there. This was kind of a small one. I know some of them, they're big, huge bottles.
Well, so my directions were, so I'm supposed to pour one of these in here and fill the rest to water and then drink the whole thing, and then drink 2 more of these.
Correct.
And so that's a lot of fluid. So to me, that was challenging. Now, and it didn't taste that good, I got to admit.
Did you get it cold?
Well, I did. Beth.
I put it in the refrigerator, so it was cold.
Yeah.
And it tasted better.
It was a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was bitter and salty all at the same time.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
It was bitter and salty all at the same time. But
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, so.
She's so nice. What I did is I drank, as much as I could drink, and then I drank a little apple juice to get me, so I wasn't going to be so nauseous about it. And then I would drink the rest, and then I drank some apple juice to get that taste out of my mouth, and that worked. That worked for me. So there's a little trick, you could do, because drinking all of that fluid, and then you have to do it again, right? So you do one at like 5 or o'clock.
About 6
or
o'clock in the evening the night before your procedure, and then they want you to do another one probably about 6 hours before your procedure.
So then the other one you have to do the same procedure
So
like
if you
in
have
the
it
middle
like,
of the night.
well, if you have it at 7:30 in the morning like I did, I had to get up at 1 and start drinking, but it did the trick. I had a nice clean colon for him to see everything. And that's the trick.
That
you
is
want
important.
You want a really clean colon so that the doctor, when he's in there doing the colonoscopy, he can see the lining. He can see anything in there besides debris in there. It just makes it clearer.
Yeah, so the prep is really important.
It is important.
You know, and I found it not as unpleasant as I thought it might be.
Right.
But let's not lie. It's not like a walk in the park. I don't think.
No, it's a
Staying
run to the
up all
bathroom,
night.
actually.
It is a run to the bathroom.
Yeah, but basically, yeah.
So yeah, that's what the prep is meant to do, is to really clean out that colon, and it does make you go to the bathroom quite a bit. And so, just a question that I had, I took my prep and I thought, how long is it going to be until I have to go to the bathroom?
Did you stop going to the bathroom?
Well, till I start.
Oh, okay.
And
So I guess everybody's
literally like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, mine was the same.
Very, very short time. So you drink the stuff and be ready to go to the bathroom right away.
And you go for probably about 3.5, 4 hours, and then your intestines kind of calm down a little
And then
bit.
you have to stay close to a bathroom for like 3 or 4 hours. I mean, that's not a joke, right?
No, it's no joke.
My mom told me, I didn't do this, but my mom, God bless her, love my mom. She said, you know what, get some Depends. You don't know if you can make it. I'm like, oh, God.
She didn't need them.
I did.
She didn't need them.
But,
So the prep it's not pleasant, but it's not horrible. So, but it's important. It's really important to do that prep so that you do have a really clean colon, so that when they're in there with the colonoscope, they can see what they need to see, and not debris sitting in corners and folds in your intestines. Yeah.
And the other part of the preparation is you're not supposed to eat for at least 24 hours, right?
Right. So you did a lot of apple juice and clear fluids. I think I just did water, and I like coconut water, so I did coconut water, and that was. It was just enough flavor or something just to kind of ward off the hunger. And actually, if it's just for a day, you get your mindset. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. I didn't find myself hungry at all. I drank a little bit of apple juice, a lot of water, and that's really about it. So we have some comments here, and not a lot of questions yet. So ask us your questions if you have them. But Larry says, "Got to be a must to learn." Right, so good, thanks, because that's what we're here to do. We really want to share this with you so that you all can and will be encouraged to do your colonoscopy when it's medically needed. For me it was at 50 because I had very few risks of colon cancer, but the age is something they want to get that checked, and you get a baseline at 50, and so we did that.
And if you, like I said before, if you do have a family history, they probably would suggest that you have it sooner, or if you have any kind of symptoms. And let me see, and some of your symptoms can be just changes in your bowel habits and abdominal pain, and sometimes you can't even see blood in your stools. So.
Right. That's the thing, is a lot of times there is no symptom of a colon cancer, and by the time you have a symptom, it's way too late.
Correct.
And you've got real cancer instead of the early stage polyps that like you had.
Right.
So I actually had a clean colon. You'll be glad to know, everyone. And so I don't have to go back for 10 years. So that's good. Debbie says, the prep has gotten better over the years, and you also aren't supposed to eat certain things the week before. So tell us about that. I think that's right. I remember that, Debbie. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't remember all the things. I think one of the biggest things are like nuts, so that you don't have large chunks.
Nuts and seeds you're not supposed to eat.
Because they get caught in all the folds of your intestines and stuff. So
popcorn.
Popcorn.
I'm not supposed to eat popcorn. I love popcorn.
Yeah, so
just
that's
a week, though.
Yeah, and it wasn't a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of other foods to eat, and I certainly enjoyed those, that's for sure.
Yeah, you can eat a lot of other things. So, Kimberly is great. She says, I woke up during the procedure and remember it. Not fun.
No.
Sorry about that, Kimberly.
Yeah, that's not fun. They do give you, I didn't either. They gave you a sedative. I had fentanyl. What did you have?
I think I had the same.
Yeah, so you're going into the procedure room, and you're lying on your left side with your knees up, and the nurse goes, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of sedative, and that was all I remember. Next thing, I was in the recovery room.
My experience was similar. Actually, the worst part of being in the surgical center was actually they were running a little behind, and so I waited. After they put the IV in my arm, I waited for probably 45 minutes. And so that was the worst part. Actually, when they started getting everything ready and I went into the procedure room, like you said,
it's a procedure's about 20 minutes, maybe 30
But
tops.
I don't remember any of it.
No.
She just put some medicine in my IV, and I kind of went off to sleep, and then...
Twilight.
Yeah.
Twilight. It's wonderful.
That's
a wonderful thing, yeah.
And then when I woke up, I was in the recovery room. My mom was there. My mommy came, and wasn't that great? And I didn't remember, like, nothing ever happened.
Now, what happened to you afterwards? How did you feel afterwards?
Afterwards, I felt, groggy,
Right.
and sleepy, but okay. I mean, I didn't have any pain. I didn't, remember anything. There was no mess, I was kind of concerned.
Well, they clean you up if there's a mess. Yes, they do that. They are very nice about that.
Let's face it, it's kind of like a messy procedure. It could be.
Well, and I think a lot
I
of...
didn't have any of that.
No, I didn't either. And I think people are fearful that, they're exposing their really private parts. And I think just talk to your doctor about that, because they can ease your fears about that, or talk to somebody that's had it before.
Well, and that's why we're doing this, right?
Right.
And
it's
we
really
expose our private parts to our, doctors.
Right. And there's a lot of dignity in there. I mean, I didn't feel any exposed or anything like that, so it's... Yeah.
I felt very taken care of as well. So we have, Lee wants to comment here. I just had my second one last week. I was offered the option of a sedative and was told that I had the option to remain awake during the procedure. No way, knock me out. I agree.
Yeah.
Good for you, I agree. But
and you can do it awake.
Yeah.
And some people do it, and they say that it's fine.
Yeah.
But
well, you remember the famous Katie Couric did her colonoscopy live
on Today's Show
on the Today
several years
Show,
ago.
And she was not, knocked out. So I don't think there's a lot of pain. Maybe in the procedure, I just think it's a little uncomfortable.
Right.
Maybe if you're awake.
You probably feel like you have to go to the bathroom.
You
You probably feel like you have to go to the bathroom.
Is that right?
What you're feeling when you're having the scope, because it's a very long, flexible, tube-like scope. It's called a colonoscope, with a little light and a camera on the end, and it's maybe the width of your finger. It's very small, so it's not. It's not going to hurt you.
Right. So again, if you have questions or suggestions, please let us know.
Yep.
We're answering questions about the colonoscopy, telling you about our experience, because we both each have experienced the colonoscopy. And I might have missed this earlier. Aaron had a question here. We talked about the idea that you are not supposed to eat seeds, popcorn, or nuts a week before your procedure. But what Aaron wants to know is, can that include some vegetables like green beans? I don't know that. That's an answer I don't know. I don't know that. So that's a good one for me to look up. Yeah, we can look that up and put it in the Facebook feed for you, Aaron. Thanks so much for the question. And that wasn't on my recommendations on my sheet. They give you a preparation sheet of directions, and it's interesting. They say don't use the directions in your kit that you get. Use the directions from your doctor. That's what my provider said. So watch out for that.
And the reason being is because it depends on what time you're having your procedure done the next day.
Yeah, and I was confused about the timing, to be quite honest.
Right.
And they must get this question a lot, because I called my provider and I said, now tell me about this timing thing. And she goes, everyone gets it wrong.
Right.
So just if you do have questions, I would just recommend calling and asking, because for me, I could eat breakfast the day before the procedure. So I ate breakfast, and then I didn't eat the rest of the day, and then I did my prep at 4 or so. Actually, I did it late. I did it at 6.
Mine was at 6.
So, and then I went to sleep for a little while, and then I set my alarm, and I had to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and drink the rest of the stuff, do my second prep. And then I had to stay up, because you have to stay up 3 or 4 hours.
Well, because you're running to the bathroom.
You're running to the bathroom.
But then you can take a nap when you get home. So it's all good.
So, okay. Lee says, he's making fun of me. Lee, that's not funny. I said doo-doo. Yeah, okay. Well. Good one. Kimberly said, no red dye either from foods. Good point.
Correct. Red, purple, pinks, because it looks like blood.
So that they just said, like, you can eat Jell-O, but no red Jell-O.
Correct, or like ice pops. Yes.
You can eat popsicles, but no red or purple popsicles.
Correct.
I wondered if that was like strawberries and berries too, so I just didn't eat those just because they A, had seeds in them, and B, were red or purple.
Well, I think it's more the day before.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you'll probably digest those and they'll be gone by the procedure time.
So again, we're answering questions and talking about our experience with colonoscopy just because it's such an important preventative screening.
It really is. And, you know, it's the third most common cancers in the United States. And like I said, it's the second leading cause of death in both men and women in the United States. 1 out of 20 people will have colon cancer. It is a lot. And the morbidity rate is 33%.
Yeah.
It is when you catch it early, it's a very treatable cancer.
Right.
It's probably one of the most treatable cancers. Unfortunately, they're finding that there's an increase in colorectal cancer in people born from 1990 and on.
So younger people.
Younger people, and they have a 50% more risk than.
And they don't know why,
They don't know why. And the heaviest increase is people from 18 to 34 years old, and they don't know why that is. But
now, would you recommend some of those people maybe take advantage of the FIT kit?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of take-home kits that you can take. You know, we at 9 Health Fair, we sell the FIT kit, which is a fetal immunochemical test that you go home and do it in your own bathroom and send it in, and it will detect blood in your stools. And there's a few others out there. Some are by prescription only, but there's some that you can just buy, you know, over the counter.
Right, and they're not, you know, hard to do.
No, they're not invasive. They don't cause any pain or anything like that. And so if you're, you know, if you're thinking or if you're concerned about something, I would definitely start there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an early warning sign, maybe.
Right.
And
Right.
Talk to your provider about a colonoscopy.
Right, right, after that.
So we have some more good questions. Erin, you're right on it. Hers said no blue, purple, or red dyes. So mine didn't say blue.
Mine didn't say blue either, but
follow your provider's instructions, Erin.
Correct.
And if yours does, please go ahead and do that because, as Beth said, right, you want to make it easy for people for the colonoscopy to see any abnormalities in your colon.
Right.
That's the main important part. And then here, Lisa wants to know, are you put under for the procedure?
Well, you're kind of put in twilight. The fentanyl that they give you just enough just to kind of put you under so you don't remember the procedure. And I think you can move and follow directions while you're...
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember, but you know when you're in that twilight, you can follow directions. I don't know what directions I would be following in that procedure, but and it's quick. It's quick acting. So and then it doesn't last very long. So. You know, 30 minutes later, you're coming out of that sleepiness.
If they do it right, somebody said that they became awake during the middle of the procedure, which sounds awful.
That sounds terrible. Sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, you usually are put under. I didn't realize you could follow directions, but I just went to sleep. That's what it felt like to me.
Well, they probably tell you not to move. Well, you didn't.
I don't remember
that.
Yeah. I was sleeping.
That's right.
Oh, here's a good question. Annetta, she wants to know, what is the best flavor of Gatorade to use from the PrEP solution?
I just used water. I'm not a Gatorade person.
Well, the only thing they would say is not purple or red.
Right, so yellow, green.
Yeah, yellow or green maybe. But I didn't actually use Gatorade either. I just drank a little bit of apple juice, but if Gatorade is your choice, I think what they do in this PrEP, and Beth, you can probably tell us, is electrolytes in here.
There's electrolytes in there. There's obviously, I can't even think of the word. It makes you go to the bathroom.
Oh, I don't know, laxative.
Laxative. There's laxative in there.
Ding, 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 got it.
Yeah. Heavy duty laxative, so that it makes you just slough everything out of your colon.
Yeah, so we have some great questions here,
Okay.
Beth. I'm diabetic. How does this affect my sugars? Well, that's a really good question, and I'm glad you're concerned about that because
you
always want to know that. Yeah.
That is a great question. And I remember reading something about diabetics and not having to fast, but I'm not sure. That is something that we can look up and let you know that.
Yeah, and check with your provider too. Anytime that you have a health condition like that, that's so good that you're concerned about how this is going to affect you. So check for your provider, and we'll also look it up, and we can post some answers for you. But Laura, good job by taking care of your own health. Adriana wants to say, I'm just tuning in now. Oh, tuning in.
Okay.
I can read and spell.
That's right.
What would be the signs and symptoms of needing a colonoscopy?
Okay, so some of the signs and symptoms of needing a colonoscopy would be kind of abdominal pain and belly pain, blood in your stools, and sometimes you can see it. I was able to see some blood in my stools 10 years ago, and that's actually what prompted me to go, even though it was the age appropriate for me. Changes in your bowel habits, if you're going too often, if you're going a lot, and then you have constipation, weakness and fatigue. Those are some signs that you might want to talk to your provider about getting a colonoscopy.
And other than that, everybody who turns 50
should get one,
should
correct.
get one.
Unless there's a family history, and then you should talk to your doctor about the earliest time you should get that.
Right. You know, Lisa says, if you're put under, is there a chance to have a fatal reaction?
Well, there's probably always a chance of something going on when you're put under. That's why it's real important that they monitor you, which they do. They monitor you with a pulse ox and blood pressure, and then they bring you out safely. It's easy to put somebody under, but it's not as easy to bring somebody back out. So another question that I don't know the answer to that. I'm not an anesthesiologist, so I don't know that for sure.
Right. I mean, I think, you know, they discussed this with me, that my risks were really, really low with that medicine, but you do want to talk to your provider about that, especially if you're concerned about it.
Right.
I think you want to talk to your provider because you may have some conditions or something like that that they need to know about.
Well, and there's no dumb questions. You know, any question is a good question. You know, and you might think, well, I can't answer that. I asked that question. That's a stupid question. It's not. There's no stupid questions. You know, the doctor needs to know your concerns so that you are not fearful going into the procedure.
That's such a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I should probably know this, or.
But if you don't, you don't. You know, it's.
Well, and that's why we're here too.
Right.
You can ask us dumb questions. We'll give you some answers, or we'll point you in the right direction.
Yep.
So Lee does say family history is also a big factor, which
Absolutely.
you pointed to.
Yep.
And thank you for the information and for maintaining a sense of humor. Yes, you have to do that. It's important to get the message out, and how critical testing is.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
So I do appreciate it. Ha ha
Ha ha ha ha.
But, you know, I think it is an important point that if you have a question about colonoscopy, about what the process is, you know, we talked a little bit about the prep, which to me was the most challenging part, just getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and drinking, you know, that much fluid and then having to stay up for 3 or 4 hours.
It is a lot of fluid. 30, it's 40.
It's a lot.
It's a lot because
You know,
it's
look,
16.
You've got to drink 3 of these basically in an hour.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
It is a lot.
But I will say this, I'm really glad I did it. The actual procedure wasn't that bad. It was really super easy, and I feel a lot better that I at least know that I have a clean bill of health for now.
Right.
And I have 10 years. I don't have to do it.
That's right.
Another colonoscopy, because they're really slow growing, right?
They are slow. It takes about 10 years for them to grow and to become cancerous. So
yeah.
So I'm on the 5-year plan, so which is fine.
You're lucky, but you know what?
But I caught it.
That's right.
Yeah, if I ignored it, who knows what would have happened in another couple of years. So.
That's right. Good job.
Yeah.
Congratulations on doing that.
You too.
Yeah. So we're going to probably sign off here in a few. We've had a lot of great questions and had a lot of good conversation about the colonoscopy and what the procedure might look like, and from 2 humans who actually did the procedure. One is a medical professional, and thank you so much for lending the expertise here and really helping us understand what's happening. So if you have questions, you can still go ahead and put them in the feed, and we'll go back and answer them. And please, I guess our call to action, our invitation, our what is it? It's a urge. It's not an invitation. It's a really please. It's a request.
Yeah.
Right? A request.
Prevention is the biggest thing, and colonoscopies are the biggest prevention you can do.
Yeah. So go get your colonoscopy when it's the right time for you. Check with your provider, and it's doable. It's not that bad. We'll tell you all the ins and outs of it.
Yep.
Did you get it? Ins and outs? Okay. We gotta go. I gotta log in so I can log out. So let's see, audio.